What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is August 21st of 2020. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, I not only want to briefly go over the broader market, talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin, and really talking about where we're expecting a major catalyst move here for Ethereum to really kind of kick off the next move in the cycle. But outside of that as well, focusing in on Ampleforth, Omise Go, some of the leaders in the market, and also dive into some of the news in relation to the ETH 2.0 testnet. So we've got a lot of things to discuss right after our quick sponsor. Our sponsor for today's episode is Bitpanda Pro. Bitpanda Pro is the secure European exchange for crypto to fiat markets. Bitpanda has been offering secure, straightforward, and easy access to the cryptocurrency market in Europe for over 5 years and wants to offer the same service to more experienced traders, users using trading bots, and other advanced clients like cryptocurrency businesses and institutional investors. With the steady addition of more and more crypto to fiat trading pairs, Bitpanda Pro has made itself a convenient, secure, and trustworthy exchange to onboard or cash out easily. Check out the link down below in the description to learn more. Alrighty, everyone, so to start off on the video here, I just want to go ahead and before we dive into our targets for Ethereum and analysis of Bitcoin, just take a look at the last 24 hours here, guys. Across the board here, you can see that there's two key themes that are still standing true: DeFi and enterprise blockchain. Omise Go, 0x, Loopring, Ampleforth, List, Flexicoin, Status, Balancer, Basic Attention Token, Icon, Qtum, Thorchain, Yearn Finance, Engine Coin. The list goes on here. Kyber Network, Blockstack, Theta. Massive moves here coming to the upside. And again, the broader market here holding in the green with very few players in the red. And the interesting thing is that the few plays that are down here, like Band Protocol, Kava, Ocean Protocol, Quant, Synthetics, Waves, Ren, Chainlink, Terra, all of these are DeFi plays that have been absolutely blowing through the market. And they're the worst here in regards to the 24 hours. They're just down slightly over the last 24 hours. So what does this tell us here? It tells us that the market is hot right now. It's exciting. And again, I really want to emphasize that we're really focusing in on these market leaders here. We're not holding stagnant plays. We're not buying plays that are just at a dip. We're trading on the momentum, guys. That's the key focus. Now, I wanted to share with you all, we're doing a CoinMarketCap giveaway. As you all know, CoinMarketCap is one of our sponsors here on the channel, a long-term partner. And if you want, we're going to be doing some CMC swag giveaway, basically some clothes. So if you want, check it out down below. In the description, we'll have a form where you can fill it out. But outside of that as well, I just wanted to mention there's a really cool feature here on CoinMarketCap, again, becoming more and more of a large crypto information platform for people. They just launched their headline feature, and I just wanted to share this. I noticed it as they kind of highlight new features with a dot here. And again, it looks really clean here. It kind of aggregates a lot of the news from across the space and even dives into some of the more kind of altcoin news for different projects with a nice little ticker symbol at the top. Now, going here to talk about what's going on in the market here, to just get straight to the chase here, guys. The interesting thing that I'm noticing here with Bitcoin's price is that we're setting in another higher relative low, if you want to get real technical with it. But basically, we're building up a general line of support here. And you can almost even draw it here again. I don't want to get like too much caught in this idea, but again, a general channel forming here to the upside. And I think this could again lead towards, again, September seeing a 13K Bitcoin. But after that, again, expecting some kind of pullback roughly down to this range here. Again, ignoring the line here, right, taking it to the longer term time frame. This is just a general kind of example trend line that we do believe eventually we're going to break above 20K sometime towards the end of this year or the Q1 of 2020 in this case, so in the first 3 months. So all in all, great target for Bitcoin. But as much as we're expecting Bitcoin to almost nearly double in this case in that time frame, at the same time, we're also much more interested in all of the altcoins that are outpacing Bitcoin right now. Whether you're just simply trading against Bitcoin and trying to increase your Bitcoin position, or if you're like me and you actually find a lot of these projects to be substantial, interesting, and actually have some long-term impact on the cryptocurrency space, no matter what, they're winning in the market right now. Trying to argue against that logically, there's not many logical arguments you can bring up in this case. It's where the market excitement is right now. Now, if you only feel comfortable with Bitcoin or what we're going to talk about here, which is Ethereum, there's no problem with that. Invest in what you feel comfortable in, guys. I just know that I've been able to do my due diligence. I've been constantly keeping up with the market. I've been following DeFi since 2017, even before DeFi was a label, through Kyber Network back in September, and Bancor and also Compound and all these projects. And now they're few and far from this massive market. There's so many other players now. They used to just be the only players on the street. Now there's different competitors, some without tokens like Uniswap, etc. So very, very interested to see how this all works. Now, in regards to price here, I want to go ahead and focus solely on price action here. What is the key level we need to watch for Ethereum? For me personally, I'm going to go ahead and cut to the chase, guys. It's 4 million Satoshis. Now, why is this a very critical level here? There's not only a lot of relevancy with price here, as this was where we hit resistance back here in the later part of 2018, as well as in the beginning of 2019. But along with that as well, if you draw the trend line back, we had previous support here before the final sell-off into December of 2017, and also previous support here back in March of 2017, and last but not least as well, slightly higher from what we had our first peak of resistance here in March of 2016 for Ethereum against Bitcoin. This is a very critical level that we want to spend some time watching. So again, I want to constantly emphasize that 4 million being a big even level, playing a lot of importance in history, that this is going to play a very big role here for a lot of traders. Because once we close above this, just taking a look, right, ignoring my personal bias on like the support and resistance here, you could call it that, whatever, but ignoring the importance that it played with support and resistance, take a look back here in the sense of the other range of price for Ethereum. What happened when we broke above this price range both times? Like when we actually entered above this range, we broke up here shortly, consolidated a little bit, made it support, accelerated. Here, we break up above it, we accelerate, right? So 4 million Satoshis, historically speaking, has been a point of optimism for Ethereum. So again, just wanted to drill this point in. It's what I'm watching for personally. After this, I really hope that Uniswap, Compound, all these different types of DeFi protocols, we're already seeing it with DYDX and Tether. I hope they move over to layer 2. This is the time they've got the time horizon, probably about 1 to 2 months before this thing starts to really kick off. Do I think it's going to be as fast as this? Probably not. But it's going to be a nice steady uptrend where Ethereum is just going to get bigger and bigger. DeFi is going to get bigger. So if you're here right now, no worries. You're in the earlier phase of this cycle, guys. Less than 1% of the world owns cryptocurrencies. You're in a good position. Now, I want to go ahead here, jump over here to talking about Ampleforth. This has been the play that we talked about just yesterday in our previous video. We had talked about in the newsletter back over the last few days. We entered our trade 3 days ago. 3 days ago. And in this case, we've not only seen Ampleforth go up, but even with the negative rebase, and for those of you who don't understand it, basically Ample supply changes. You basically, when it's below the peg here, the supply gets more limited. You lose some of your Ample, therefore applying some more pressure on that, basically some pressure in the market to drive prices higher. And along with that as well, when it goes up higher, you actually get more Ample coins, so the supply gets bigger. Very similar to the mechanism many people are familiar with DAI, the stable coin on MakerDAO. But all in all, even with the rebase here, we've had a really nice track record of profit here, really solid trade, one of the major market leaders today. So you can take a look here, the coin market cap up 27%. And again, I want to spend some time to talk about, again, the key principles here. I'm not here to just brag or, again, if you guys are interested, you can check out the newsletter in the description, but I'm not really here to talk about that. I wanted to share this with you guys for free. You guys know me. I don't like to make everything exclusive. I want to share the reasoning for why I think this trade was as successful as it was. There's a few key principles that I always keep in mind here. First off, you always have to remain patient. You have to wait for prime opportunities to show up in the market. Don't always FOMO into the hottest thing right then and there. And along with that, in the case of being patient, is to wait for that necessary pullback to come in. Ampleforth as a play came in, just back here in late June, right? Was around $7 million in market cap and went up practically to a little bit above 600 million. That's nearly a little bit under a 100x, right? Simply put, you can even drag back the time frame just about a week or two more, and you'll get around the $6 million market cap most likely. 100x here in valuation. What do you expect from a 100x in valuation? Not a 100% return, a 100x in value. You're probably going to get the more severe parameters of a correction. And that's not just the 35, 50% correction. No, that's going to be 80% at a minimum. And that was the general range I looked for. In fact, what's interesting and what kind of proved that this was likely going to happen, once we started to set in a first major red candle here on the daily, it probably became clear that this was going to be the top. We can already see that the previous point of resistance here if we were to make that support like we did, that's an 80% correction. Even. Clean cut. You don't get it better than this, guys. It never can be more simple than this. And along with this as well, we had the technical patterns building in, the descending wedge, the faster drop and the highs than the lows. In this case, giving us a very clear sign here that this was probably going to break out to the upside. It's technical patterns that signal bullish price action ahead. And the volume came in. Price came in here good. And it looks like we're going to probably continue this trend here for the next few weeks. I'm still holding my ample fourth position. I made a small trade in the newsletter group. I actually was able to swing in the short term. I told everyone when I got out, when I got back in, and luckily have a slightly larger size of ample, which is good. But all in all, I'm just generally holding this for probably the next few weeks. Because there's a phenomena where you can find an ample fourth in this case where sometimes the price goes well above $1. And what you get is not only a higher market rate, but you also get the positive rebates in this case. So you actually end up getting more coins. And again, until ample fourth really matures as an asset and it starts to grow a larger market cap with more market traders and holders and people basically watching that peg, you're going to have these volatile swings. As a trader, I like these. Now, outside of that as well, right? We already talked enough about Ample yesterday. I want to talk about AmisaGo. We also discussed AmisaGo yesterday. I don't actually hold any position in AmisaGo, but I will say that you could have easily spotted this opportunity, at least a portion of this opportunity, not the Tether news or anything like that, but you could have spotted, again, another perfect example here of following simple technical analysis in order to spot opportunities. So AmisaGo, I actually had this drawn on my chart. The only thing, actually, no, I haven't really altered anything here. I've had this chart here since when we were starting to pull back. The only thing I altered, is the percentage decline here. I was generally shooting for something around like a 47 to 48% one because that was more aligned with the resistance. But this actually is an important lesson that I'll dive into here. All in all, the only thing I looked for AmisaGo here for a potential buy opportunity, and sadly I did miss out on it. You don't make every call, right? But I was looking here for a little bit less than around a 50% pullback onto this previous resistance. Not only is a 40, 50, 60% correction great, if you can get it against Bitcoin on a fast moving altcoin like AmisaGo, but along with that as well, this had been very significant previous resistance in the past multiple times. Here, back in August of 2019, all the way back here in February of 2020. It showed a lot of relevancy in price. And when we were able to hold support well above that level, right? Buyers weren't even letting it come down there. The bulls were buying it up. Price accelerated. And the Tether news just basically put it in its place and took it absolutely vertical. Now, am I looking to buy AmisaGo right here? I gotta be honest, the wicks here on the chart looks a little bit off-putting, so we'll have to see what happens here, in the sense of the daily price action. Maybe we start to have a nice little base down here. Maybe we build support at this range here. Again, taking a look at the long-term time frames is what you want to do. But all in all here, again, even if you were to sell the position here and have gotten in or much earlier, you can have made a great profit on the trade here. And this is what we look for in these kind of positions, guys. So that's it in regards to technical analysis here. I've done enough looking at charts here, enough rambling. Talking about the news, though, about Tether and its evolving nature in regards to the Ethereum blockchain and its move over towards AmisaGo's Plasma solution as layer 2, this is really, really interesting. This is going to have some damaging repercussions for the Tron network. Tron losing 23% of its $4.3 billion of Tether reserves. They moved over $1 billion yesterday over to the Ethereum network as an ERC20 token. And along with that as well, they're moving it over and hopefully integrating in the next foreseeable future. In this case, we don't really have an estimated time frame just yet on moving to AmisaGo, reducing and offloading a lot of that traffic on the Ethereum network, which is fantastic. I think this is great. What's really great about this is that we could take all of the Tether that's on Tron right now, and I bet if $1 billion has already moved over, most of it's going to move over to Ethereum. And even though we're onloading more Tether onto Ethereum, it's still going to have lower general fees and have a positive effect on gas price because AmisaGo is going to be able to scale all these transactions and take them off the main chain. So very, very excited about that. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about here, some people had heard about the Medallia testnet problems. So basically, the first phase, or phase 0 in this case, of the ETH 2.0 update to the overall network, or the mainnet, in this case, it obviously has to be tested on testnet first. And we saw Medallia go in, and there was actually an error in this case where basically the nodes on the network, if I'm getting it correctly here, I might misinterpret it. There was an incident in this case where 6 servers on the chain basically reported that the time frame was 1 day ahead. So again, problems like this come up in testnet. It's a good reason why we actually go about doing things on testnet, letting things break, seeing what happens, and then we go on to deploying on mainnet once we've worked out all the bugs and kinks in this case. There's a really good tweet here from Eli Ephraim here in this case. He said, just imagine a bug like this happening on the mainnet of ETH 2.0. And ETH 2.0 is going to need some time. It's probably going to be well over a year until it really comes out, guys. I changed my opinion on this recently. I've talked to a lot of different developers, investors in the ecosystem, and they're saying that this is probably, well over a year out. In some cases, Vitalik, for example, quoted a couple of years. The major thing that I want to propose here in this case as a positive thing to look forward to in Ethereum is that Uniswap, Tether, DYDX, Curve, all these applications in DeFi, and the ones that have yet to even come on the horizon, as capital influxes increase and as trade and activity happen on the network, in order for these projects to survive, they are going to have to integrate with some form of layer 2 solution, Plasma, ZK rollups, whatever it may be, right? And we're seeing it right now. Tether making the first move, being the largest protocol alongside Uniswap, or really the largest consumer of gas is more of the proper way to put it. It's not really so much a protocol, it's just an ERC20 token. But with Tether being one of the largest applications, a stable coin to send as payments and move between exchanges and platforms and provide liquidity, moving over to layer 2, Uniswap, I have no doubt, will be around the corner. I tried to spark this conversation with a lot of the team, a lot of the core members in this case over at Uniswap on Twitter, and it seems like we got a good conversation going, possibly pushing out a version or rendition of Uniswap with Plasma implemented, which would mean practically zero fees outside of the liquidity provider fee of 0.3% and instant transaction settlement. So no more worrying if you're not paying enough gas for a transaction or dealing with having to cancel or do this or that. It would be much smoother. The user experience would be absolutely optimal comparative to what it is right now. And it'd be ready to take on the tens, if not hundreds of thousands to millions of users that will come over the next few months. So I'm very, very excited to see this with you all, to be here with you all during this time. We've got to do it soon. Bitcoin 20K will be here sooner than we can expect it. And along with that as well, I think ETH above 500 or 1,000 is going to come sooner than we think as well. Last thing, speaking of this as well, in regards to developments in crypto, globally we're seeing a lot of the traffic, and you can actually prove this by taking a look at Etherscan. I think that's probably played a big role into Chainalysis's analysis of this. That's a tongue twister there. Chainalysis had an analysis of where a lot of the focus is for altcoins, and most of it is coming most likely from East Asia. So this is coming from a lot of the markets you know about, South Korea, Japan. We're seeing it from all types of different markets, the Philippines, Thailand, all types of different regions within the eastern part of Asia, taking hold of this market, predominantly Korea. I mean, it just makes sense with the culture. Digital assets are so native to Koreans. But again, you can see this in the gas fees on the network. I just thought it was a really interesting metric to talk about. It doesn't really impact markets that much, but the demand is coming here. It's coming back bigger than ever, guys. And you will see some of the levels that were the peak levels of 2017 get blown out very quickly. Valuations are already growing at rapid rates. And I'm just very excited to be here with you guys. I mean, this is a really fascinating market. There isn't going to be many markets like this in our lives. And, no matter if you're kind of young like myself, or, you're, in your later ages in this case, I don't want to say which age would be old by any means. I think we're all kind of young in a sense. At the end of the day, we're always learning. The major thing that I would say at the end of the day is to understand that we've got a long way to go here for cryptocurrency markets, and I'm excited to be in this journey with you guys. So that all being said, I hope you're all having a fantastic day wherever you are. Take care, trade smart, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.